When I was 5 years old, my great-grandmother died. I didn't know her well, and we weren't particularly close. She had been sick and harsh during my interactions with her, and I was little insensitive. We just didn't really gel. Because I was living far away when she died, I did not attend her funeral, and I didn't really think much about her passing after, being initially told about it. Months later, I was awakened in the middle of the night to see her standing, seemingly composed of light, standing next to my bed. She was beaming, and she said that she wanted me to know that she loves me. As you can imagine, this informed my relationship with death and my understanding of what existence is.
My name is Angela Nibley, and I come from a family with history in the Mormon Church. When I was 16 years old, the cognitive dissonance between what I was being taught and what was expected of me was more than I could handle. So, I decided to leave the church. It did not go well. This is my healing journey.
I was so excited for my baptism, y'all, let me tell you, okay? This baptism was going to have everything. Church swimming, mystical powers bestowed upon my head for the entire tribe to see. Mystical powers, the undeniable knowing that the church was true because of my mystical powers, and a white dress that would take less than 2 hours to get a permanent ketchup stain. It was going to be everything. I was so excited. When the moment came for my powers to activate, I am Shiva! I felt
nothing. Empty, expectant, searching, disappointed, ashamed.
If anything, I felt less than before, because before wasn't supposed to be more than it was, but now was supposed to be something more than it was. It was supposed to be so much more. I had been promised my whole life that it would now be so much more, and it wasn't. Flash forward to 16. I was in my third year of seminary, which is a religion class that Mormon high schoolers take every day in addition to their high school classes. What didn't add up for me: Joseph Smith hears God, and you can too, because we are all children of God, but he's just a little bit more valued as a child of God, because if you disagree with him, he's right and you're wrong. Revelation incongruencies, like the timing of the 1978 revelation in which the LDS Church overturned long-standing doctrine, which excluded black members of the church from receiving the full privileges other members received. God should be timeless. If the prophet can't lead you astray, then he can't lead you astray. And there would be no need to update doctrine when it becomes so unsustainably unpopular that it could become your downfall. That's called PR. That's not revelation. It stops the hemorrhaging of tithing dollars is what it does. If denying an entire demographic their earned salvation simply because of your own personal prejudice is not leading a congregation astray, then what the fuck does leading them astray look like? And the last thing that didn't add up for me was,
oh yeah, the Book of Mormon. While I have your attention, remember to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to express your rage to your community at large, check out my groovy merch.
I had powerful experiences, just like the church had talked about when I prayed. I did not get that confirmation about Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon, or the church being true. And the rituals to assert otherwise felt like a scene from The Emperor's New Clothes. When I asked in prayer what I should do, I was told to live the values that I thought were best, to do my best at that, and to leave everyone else to themselves. Makes sense to me. I prayed about it and decided that I did not want to practice organized religion. I felt good and at peace about that. My family and community did not. At this point in time, I was also attending therapy. My therapist was a priesthood leader from my ward, and my mother was friends with him and his wife. During this tumultuous transition, as I was navigating my religious sovereignty, my therapist became my bishop. This is a problem for numerous ethical reasons,
including but not limited to conflicts of interest, breach of confidentiality, compromised therapeutic boundaries, power imbalance, informed consent, impaired objectivity, risk of exploitation, and dual relationships.
So here I am now, a 17-year-old in the bishop's office, talking to my therapist, a middle-aged man who was just promoted to an even higher position of community status. And when I tell him that I don't believe it, and I don't want to pretend anymore, he angrily asks, "Well then, what do you believe?" As if providing an answer that satisfied him would grant me the worthiness of religious freedom. My hypervigilance was engaged, and for many years I felt unsettled if I didn't have the mysteries of the universe not only solved, but packaged in a way that could satisfy 100% of people. So, I studied. But Angela, you say, of course they practice the 11th article of faith. We claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, when, or what they may. And allowed all men the same privilege. Oh, was that the problem? But the members understood you were having a hard time, and they respected your personal journey, right? They reminded you that you're a child of God and always love you unconditionally, right? They at least validated your basic humanity, right? I found in leaving the church that numerous members individually and en masse would continually behave in ways that were consistent with Lucifer's agenda. You know, from the Mormon plan of salvation, there was manipulation, lying, scheming, theft, and a basic belief that not having good standing in the church entitles members to treat the individual abusively. Everything counter to attributes of Christ and completely consistent with Mormon Lucifer in the plan of salvation. Please make it make sense. The fact that their behavior was completely incongruent to almost everything they had taught me was the final litmus test concluding that they were largely not practicing what they preached, which means that on some level, they themselves did not fully believe it. Nothing about that was godly or love, so I went looking for the light. My studies led me to find things I'm going to be sharing on this channel, but ultimately it's my intention to help you connect to your inner source so you can find the personal answers you're seeking there. When I told my bishop therapist I was leaving the church, he was angry because he was scared, because he was overly invested in my welfare. It was unprofessional at best, but his motives were founded genuinely in caring about my well-being. I recognize that. And I recognize that he was a good person who made a really bad judgment call. I forgive him. And I hope that after reckoning the magnitude of his actions, he can forgive himself too. Because humans are messy and fallible, and leadership is hard. Leadership is hard. It is impossible to do it perfectly. We all make mistakes. It has been my experience that the church is a safe haven for bishops who choose to use their power abusively. In my opinion and observation, that is not this guy. I believe this man to care deeply about the welfare of people and about doing the right thing. And he still made this choice, for which I paid the price. The choice to discuss this publicly weighed heavily on my mind, because I do think he is a good human who made a bad decision, and I believe that we all deserve forgiveness and redemption. But these patterns will not change if they are not called out and addressed so that healthy behavioral patterns can replace harmful ones. Rather, it is important to use this as an example, because even good people who try to do the honest thing are corruptible when their allegiance is to codependent systems before doing what is actually right. I hope I've encouraged you to explore what your litmus test is. And remember, we take care of the goose for the health of the gander, so we can all be golden. Thanks for watching.
I am Shiva!